Hello, greetings. Very tired, but I have to share this before I lose some of it. And something else in the beginning. So forgetful and very tired. I just was wondering if there are examples and the sayings of Rasulullah, Prophet, this apostle of Allah, in the Sunni sources, how to treat children and all this. So I was wondering, I hope I don't get carried away. Some verses I really don't understand, and my mind doesn't get it, right? So I cannot say I get it, and I cannot discuss them. And so the children thing came out, like there were so many children when the war, the children of war, the children of the enemy side. So before I go on, I have to say that I still have impediments, and there are these Christians who English speaking who know how to express themselves in English and explain verses of the Quran and all. So, okay, I went to 14 Acts apologetics on the YouTube channel. And I got myself really confused because he was explaining this verse from Surah Talaq about those who have not yet reached the age of menstruation. Actually, as Shia Muslims, that particular ayat, I can't even remember the verse number, so I'm just going to go like this, very careless and tired. We took it as, in Surah Talaq, we took that ayat as those who have not yet, not yet, but those who have not menstruated as yet. Oh, not as yet. They have not had their monthly periods as yet. Monthly periods. Now, these kind of things, confusion, communication problem, translation problems. Other ayats that I'm very, like I can understand where the discrepancy is. I only talk about those. So I made a mistake here of trusting Acts 14 apologetics YouTube channel on this Talaq ayat, that they have not yet reached the age of menstruation, menses. I say menses. So again, where am I now? He quoted from the Sunni hadiths to explain and all this, but I found a verse in Surah Nisa after checking some articles on this. Although I don't even trust in, it's all a mess. It's all a hodgepodge mess. I don't trust my Shia alims, Quran experts from the Shia side, but this much, I didn't know what to do. I was confused. So I read the article, and then I was like, I don't know, marriageable, reach the marriageable. I don't even know if I can trust this article. Then I had to check so I was really reluctant. I was really fed up. I'm just sharing how I felt, right? Then I told myself, no, Zara, this is with fair dueness. You can't do this, right? This is about truth. So Um, some Quran ayats I'm not eligible to talk about because I'm confused about them. They're open to interpretation. Some translated as, those who have not yet reached. For example, this the Surah Talaq Ayat 4 or something. Can't remember. Please check, huh? So those who have not reached, some translated as those who have not reached the age, let me see if I can, the age of menstruation. So as I was very confused and I was like, no, I have to about this correct myself. Even though I'm very tired, lost and confused, and even the other ayats that I feel I've had an insight on Prophet Muhammad being a false prophet and this religion being a false religion, and not knowing where to go, lost case. So where shall I go? Where shall I start from in my life? Like that. So thank God that I came across Jiddu Krishnamurti and then Moji Baba. So please don't hold this against me or anyone. That we're trying our best. There's a lot of confusion. So some translate this Quran ayat as those who have not yet reached the age of puberty, menstruation. And please don't hold it against Acts. No, sorry, it's not 14. It's Acts 17 apologetics on YouTube. Child marriage in the Quran and examination of Surah 65 4, Surah 65 verse 4. So see, I couldn't even remember. Here just put a comment here, and I said, I can't remember the Surah Talaq ayat, but it's there on the this thing here, title, right? So this mistake also I'm pointing out of mine. I make these mistakes and I'm very tired, and because of so I'm using my mental health, like Gulzar Elia said, and so very, very confused, very tired. So I was looking for any other child good verses, an exception to what the hadiths say and how Imam Hussein treated the orphan, Muslim ibn Aqil's orphan, how he made her sit on his lap and put his hand on her. And this is what we mention in the majlises and masahibs of Muslim ibn Aqil during Muharram, right? So this is how to treat an orphan and all this. But the thing was that I wanted to know if so many children in that war, at that time, Prophet Muhammad's time, whether they, they were living happily with Prophet Muhammad. If suppose Zainab bint, no, sorry, what's her name now? I'll be making these, I'm really very tired. Safiya bint Huway, and those whom Prophet Muhammad married, widows, and from the war, the enemy side, widows. So whether their children were happy with him and all that, I have to do a lot of studying on that. But I just mentioned it, like I said in my previous video, you see. And this also I have to correct myself. I don't know how Prophet Muhammad really can't rely on the Sunni hadiths in this way. The way I started, carried on mentioning, because it's all hearsay. But I see that there are Sunni hadiths, and I don't know how to go about it now with the children, how they were treated, the enemy side, and the widows, the Muslims, believers married at that time, how their children were treated. And then I remembered, but he married Aisha, years old. Then I went to the Khomeini fatwa. No, Khomeini has said that you can marry even if a child is an infant or something like that. But I've fortunately found an ayat which says that no, you can't marry someone. I was thinking of going to find out whether in marriage a girl's consent is allowed in this Quran ayat, searching for the Quran ayat. What I found was a girl's permission in marriage, Quran ayat. What I found was, and maybe about this also, do not inherit women against their will, Quran ayat in Surah Nisa. Like, I've said a lot about Surah Nur ayat 33, forced prostitution. Like, the thing is not put properly, but you look at the whole thing and you may even bring this ayat in Surah Nisa ayat. Do not inherit women against their will. So this but still it doesn't mean I'm a Shia because I don't understand. I don't think there's communication. There's a lot of, there are certain discrepancies in the Quran ayat and I don't understand. I'm not a follower anymore of someone like I would say that I'm a follower of Imam Hussein or this Quran or Islam, and I can't understand these books and all. I've had enough. I thought if humanity has to come out, like you have to be a good person, it has to come from your inside, not from someone else's example or telling you what to do. You have to learn it inside. If it comes from outside, it means you are hollow. How can someone else make you learn something about your own self? There are experts now. Please don't jump to doctors and mother taking care until we grow up and all this. In that also, if you have a bad mother or covert narcissist, then what will you learn? You'll learn only to be. Children learn what they are taught or how they, what is it? So my English impediments and articulation is terrible. But that's the way it is. And I'm struggling and I'll keep on struggling. So there are very good, very articulate people on YouTube also who can explain and make you misguide us about certain verses in the Quran. So I cannot trust in anyone. I cannot trust in even the Prophet Muhammad's family members to guide me on the Quran verses. So that I've explained in a previous video. I like to be short here, brief, and especially concentrate on the mistake I've made now is that go finding out how, maybe catch Rasulullah, the Apostle of Allah, in something. I wanted to see where the contradiction was. So in doing that, I made a mistake by going to thinking of Aisha and what the Sunni sources say about her, and now what the Shia sources say about her, what her age may have been, right? Not 6 or not 9 when consummated. So they're trying to correct, they have corrected themselves, the Shias, and the Sunni Muslims have also been following suit. So this also, I put myself in trouble actually, and in a confusion in myself. So much confusion, and found this verse where it says that in Surah Nisa, So it really is a struggle, um, believing in one God, following a prophet, following one book, and it's a struggle unless we have our Imam present to guide us in every way, like how to, live and all this. So that's a impediment. We are at a loss. I feel I'm at a loss because I cannot follow someone. I can't understand the whole Quran. So felt them being, it's such a strenuous thing to understand the Quran and everything, and then depend on so many religious scholars, and unanimously, if they agree, then I have to also agree. And then someone is saying Khomeini has said this in his Risalat, this, that you can get married to an infant. But let's see this one. Where was I now? Okay, and I don't want to, did I say this? I don't want to get carried away. Like every other ayat that I'm confused about, I must say I'm confused about. I don't understand. My comprehension is low. I didn't learn the Arabic, Quran Arabic. I don't understand it properly. I was in Karachi most of my life. And what happened, I've already mentioned this, when the religious scholar who came to, teach me the Quran, I'm struggling with this too. Really very simple English. Who came to teach me the Quran. I told him there's a problem with Allah, written Allah in Arabic. And he said, yes, he could see this. So if he found a good reason, why, or that there was no, like he would contemplate on it or find out. And then he said, if he finds out, he will come back to teach me. If he doesn't, then he won't. Women, marry other women of your choice. I wonder if the women, I'm trying to look for that ayat where the women also have a choice in marrying the men. If you fear you might fail to give orphan, you see, like this I cannot, so I don't know, but I'm just saying, like here it's mentioned in Surah Nisa, Ayat 3, if you fear you might fail to give orphan women their due rights, if you were to marry them, then marry other women of your choice. 2, 3, or 4. Now here it makes me wonder if there's another ayat which says women can also marry of their choice. And I haven't searched for it, so I don't know. It may be hiding somewhere in the Quran that I don't know of, and I confess I don't know. 4, Ayat 4, give women your due dowries graciously. If they waive some of it willingly, then you may enjoy it freely with a clear conscience. So where's that ayat? Oh yes, it's Ayat 6 of Surah Nisa. Quickly, I forget. Just put it in the comment section for Acts 17 apologet. What's that? I keep forgetting. Test the competence. This is Dr. Mustafa Khattab, The Clear Quran, Sahih International Translation, and test. Both of them are saying test the competence of the orphans until they reach, both of them are saying a marriageable age. Both Dr. Mustafa Khattab, The Clear Quran, and Sahih International, until they reach marriageable age. Then if you perceive, this is important, both of them are saying marriageable age. Let's see what the Quran says here. Age of marriage, an-nikah. What does this mean? An-nikah. Huh? Age of an-nikah. Yeah, because I don't know, some say the word nikah means sexual intercourse. I don't know. This was not sent on my heart. The age of marriage. In them sound judgment. So if you find in them sound judgment, then deliver to them their wealth. So it has to be that for a marriageable age here from this Quran ayat, it has to be that you must have sound. The person, the girl, the orphan, the girl, the male, they both must have sound judgment. So then if we take this verse, this part of the verse, so correction, I hope Acts 17, where's that other, makes a correction here. Because they're taking it from the Sunni hadiths and also from the Quran ayats. So they should check this Quran ayat, right? It says, marriageable age has to be, let me just open this, has to be that you are capable of sound judgment. Return the wealth to them. So so then we go back to Surah Talaq ayat. Which ayat did I? Surah Talaq 65 verse 4. Okay, here under the Acts 17 apologetics, where's my comment? Sorry, I didn't get this ayat you tried to explain from Surah Talaq. As a Shia, when I was a Shia, I understood this ayat to mean those who have not had their menses, not having reached the age of menstruation. I found another ayat that confirms the Shia translation and meaning of the Surah Talaq ayat you gave. Surah Nisa ayat 6. Test the orphans until they reach the marriageable age. Nikah, age. Okay, that's okay. Nikah is whatever it is. They say it's a bad word, right? But here, the following in this ayat. Then, if you perceive in them proper understanding, hand the property over to them. Then, if you perceive in them proper understanding. So, test the orphans, maybe. So, I just put here, I'm really confused now. I'm really confused. Oh. Now these, everyone, Shia, Sunnis, I felt that this, my Shia, Ahlul Bayt, former, he was dodging the Surah Talaq, Ayat 4, right? But now he's correct. And is child marriage allowed in Islam? He says no. In the end, he says full marriage is not allowed for children. Ahlul Bayt, general question and answer on YouTube channel. Do you get it? Like this one, this Shia, no, it doesn't, it won't, and this Acts 17 apologetics. Thank you so much for confusing us. I wonder what they're up to really here. So let's not get carried away. I've learned my lesson today. wonder who these people are. I don't know. Also, but thanks for the confusion and all. I still don't get it. And then there is a ayat saying here. So I really don't get it. When I don't get it, I cannot say I get it. And with the due fairness, I found another ayat which says in Surah Nisa that you should marriageable age. And what is this marriageable age? Right? So you get it from the following verse, following part of this verse. And if you fear that you are God. Ayat 6. In Ayat 6, Surah Nisa. Test the competence, test the orphans in their abilities and until they reach marriageable age. So it doesn't mean that you can get married to an infant and have this tying and what Khomeini has said, and test the orphans until when they reach balagh an-nikah, the age of marriage. Then if you perceive in them sound judgment, then deliver to them their will. So, and do not, this is so confusing. It's a mumble jumble, extravagantly and hastily, fearing they will grow up and whoever is rich, then he should refrain. Oh, goodness. Then if you feel they are capable of sound judgment, test the competence, test the orphans until they reach a marriageable age. It's very vague. Like, what is a marriageable age? Then if you feel they are capable of sound judgment, okay, you have to be capable of sound judgment. Return their wealth to them and do not consume it wastefully and hastily before they grow up. So they have to be grown up to demand it. You see, before they grow up to demand it. If the guardian is well off, they should not take compensation. But if the guardian is poor, let them take a reasonable provision. When you give orphans back their property, call in witnesses, and sufficient is Allah as a vigilant reckoner. Grow up. When they grow up, let's see, when they grow up, does it mean saghir? Yakbar, when they are old enough. Akbar, yeah. It does not say saghir, a child here. It says when they are grown up. So that verse in Surah Talaq, taking this verse from Surah Nisa, they have to be grown up. This means Prophet Muhammad could not have married a child, right? So all those about Aisha, narrated by Aisha, are wrong. You cannot marry. And this verse, taking this verse, Surah Nisa verse 6 with Surah Talaq verse 4. Surah Talaq, and what the Shia has told us, how we should translate this verse. Surah Talaq, Ayat 4. Right. The waiting period of those women It's slow. Have lost all expectation and shall be their months. So, Quran.com. Let's see if this takes a long time to open. The website Quran.com. No, it's opened. So, verse 4, Surah Talaq, Surah 65 in the Quran. As for your women past the age of menstruation, in case you do not know, the waiting period is 3 months. And those who have not menstruated as well. As for those who are pregnant, meaning we used to take that they have not yet had their menses. So since they've not yet had their menses, they're supposed to wait to see until they have their menses. So that means they're not pregnant. Right? So as to not be in this confusion, or not to get this that they have to wait. If they're pregnant, then the child should know who the father is, and he's supposed to take responsibility for this child. So there should be no confusion about who the father is of this child if they are pregnant. So they have to wait, and I think the Shia translation is goes well with it. These two Quran ayats, if you take them together. Surah Talaq, verse 4, and Surah Nisa, verse 6. Okay, I'm a bit, this thing, kind of scared, I have to keep checking, like I keep forgetting. So Surah Nisa, verse 8, and I don't have that much to keep doing this. Too much strength, my heart even like very scared, but I have to be fair and not carried away or get confused by people who are using Sunni hadiths and historians or Quran experts, Sunni Quran expert, Muslim sources, non-Shia sources. But in this, the Shias, not Khomeini, if that Risala thing is from Khomeini, or maybe not, I don't know. But it says, test the competence of the orphans until they reach a marriageable age. Then if you feel they are capable of sound judgment, return their wealth to them, and do not consume it wastefully and hastily before they grow up. So this tells us marriage age, marriageable age, orphans, marriageable age is important. Then if you feel they are capable of sound judgment, they have to be capable of sound judgment, and do not consume it wastefully and hastily before they grow up. This means grown up, marriageable age, sound judgment, grown up. So how would we put this? That a marriageable age is when they know they have the sound judgment. They have to be mature, grown up, to be able to handle this property, inheritance property, right? Inherited to them, or orphans until they're sound capable, their property or their inheritance or their expenditure, whoever they are dependent upon when they are younger, have not reached the marriageable age, slowly going with this, and have sound judgment. Means you have to have sound judgment because you've reached that marriageable age. and the conditions of marriageable age here are given: sound judgment and grown up. Grown up. So they have to be grown up. So that verse in Surah, just to correct this, because so the Sunni sources have failed, historians failed. Aisha cannot be someone who did not know what was happening to her when she married Prophet Muhammad. She would have to be of marriageable age, sound judgment, and grown up. So what does that mean? So then you can also read this article, very articulate. How did I search for it? Girls' permission in marriage. Marriage in. Where is this article now? Which helped me find this verse in Surah Nisa. With marriage in the Quran. Maybe this one. Where is this article? One Path Network. Can't find it. But marriage in Islam, 8 Quran verses about marriage. Maybe this one. Okay, sorry I cannot do more research. Searching for the article that helped me find the Surah Nisa verse. It was correcting, like, how could it be when this ayat is there? And it explains so well, step by step. So I was first like reluctant, but then I said, no, I must take this article and the ayat it has given. I must check it, not get carried away like this, because I have to be answerable for the truth and in due fairness with the tyrant also that I found and the confusion I found in the Quran, things like that. I just feel it could have been, because even religious scholars are not capable of, they don't have that capacity to solve family problems and all this, neither were we capable enough. So even those alims who were at such a high level could not solve the family problems that we had. And, properly explain to us step by step, every Quran ayat, everything. So there's a lack of that, and I feel I don't understand who I am as a human being, just to get that, maybe get that feeling for people and reaching out to them and myself also, so I can help myself first and then help others. If I have a disease or something, I can help myself. Self-dependent in most cases. Okay, so the healing must be inside. Like Imam Ali has said, Ali, Abu Talib, that your sickness comes from yourself, but you do not know it. So all these psychological and whatever accidents we go through, I guess diseases, it comes from ourselves, but we don't know it. Okay, so I don't know where Imam Ali took that from, but I feel the Quran is not enough to heal oneself and understand one's life and how to live it. It just did not communicate to us in a way, and it's you can put the blame on me or someone who maybe they didn't want to understand the Quran or study the Quran, and we relied on religious scholars. That's true, but I've tried in my way to understand, and I failed. Yes, I failed, and I didn't go for the to comb for further education, further understanding of the Quran and the Hadiths, study Islam through like my own Shia Islam, and then look at the other side and see how they're looking at the Sunni side and all angles. So Aisha has failed in this. The hadith is from the Umayyad side. This is a blow to that part of mine where I said we must look at it through the Umayyad side. This is a blow to myself actually. When I am trying to, there should be, I so have to wait and see what happens now. Since those hadiths are saying that Aisha was a small child and she didn't know she was playing with dolls and all that. Because this Surah Nisa verse 6 doesn't really go with that, what Aisha was saying, that she was a child and Prophet Muhammad married her. You have to be grown up. You have to be of marriageable age. Marriageable age consists of, what does that ayat say? Surah Nisa again, verse 6 or 4. Okay, I'm getting confused with Surah Talaq ayat and Surah Nisa ayat. Numbers, the numbers I'm getting confused with. What does Surah Nisa ayat say? Marriageable age, sound judgment, mind, competitive, grown up. Grown up. So you have to be mature. You cannot be a child, saghir, which Act 17 Apologetics pointed out in his research on this Surah Talaq ayat. That menses, if you, this means what Dr. David Wood had said, and he's also from this channel, right? He uses this channel, Acts 17 Apologetics. So more work to do, and but overall I feel that this lack of, another reason why I had to back out from Islam and Shia Islam too altogether. Also my Shia Islam, because I felt the communication that there was something missing in this, and I couldn't say it. I couldn't put my finger on it and say, this is missing in this religion. I knew something was missing later on. I found out when I grew up of age, when I came of age to really like O levels. It took me like maybe when I was in O levels, I realized something is missing in this religion. But I couldn't put my finger on it. Now I can say that another thing missing in this is that we are following someone, the Quran ayats that have come. You see all this mumble jumble, open to translations and many interpretations. Translations, I mean, are even the translations have a discrepancy in it. So that true Allah must be able to communicate clearly. There should be no ambiguity in it. It should be clear and all this. So I found it ambiguous, but then it says those pure can only touch it. But if you want the impure to touch it, like to understand it, then because this is for all the people, right? So they can understand and then embrace Islam, understanding it. And then live, because Islam is a practical religion. You can just not keep it in the temple or the mosque, or you have to live it. It's a way of life. Religion, we used to say, deen. Religion, Islam is a deen, and it is a way of life, way of living. it aligned to the sacred laws of God, in alignment with those sacred, because the sacred laws are in alignment with our nature, with nature, and beneficial, and all this, right? So it's a way of life, and so we can have we can be aligned with God, and I don't know how to explain this properly. So we can be aligned with God. God's are sacred laws. So we can be aligned with the universe. So if God is failing to communicate to us in the most easiest way and simple way and clear way, then how can we live that life aligned with God, God's laws? Because it's very important. If a little bit of if we don't, then we're going to become cruel and unjust and unfair, and there will be disorder, chaos in this world, not peace and harmony, with the great harmony, and with peace should we live together in love, peace and harmony in humanity. So this is what this religion was meant to be, to live it in real life, very practical also, in modern times, in the cities, wherever we set our foot in. We're supposed to live it that way, live in that modern times, it's good but aligned with that sacred laws which are beneficial for us human beings, for animals, for the whole planet, for the whole universe. Mercy, beneficial, merciful, uh, good for everyone. But if this Quran doesn't communicate properly and there are these ambiguous verses that we don't understand, and we have to ask this person and that person and Quran experts, and we can't understand ourselves, what's the use of all that? And who to trust? So, but however, in these ayats, I guess the Shias win. The Shias are right. That doesn't mean menses, the ones who are, haven't reached of age, who haven't grown up, but that they have not had them menses in marriage. They are in this marriage, and they have. If these married women have not yet had their menses, please wait until you get your next menses, and then I think so. But still, I feel I'm very confused now, and I really don't know, so I have to stop and then come back later. This is awful, disastrous. Thank you so much for going through it anyways, if you will be going through it. And then if I can understand better and have a more clear, stress-free mind, distress-free and all this, I'll come back later. Thank you so much.